On behalf of all of us here with the Calgary Flames, my name is Beasley saying so long. Enjoy your evening. Now down to Brandon Parker and Cory Sarich for tonight's Flames TV live game show. Brought to you by and presented by Original 16.
You can look for new limited edition 15 packs of Original 16 Canadian Pale Ale. Each pack includes a mix of collectible cans for the ultimate Flames fan to proudly display. Original 16, official beer sponsor of the Calgary Flames.
All right, welcome inside Flames Postgame Live. It's brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich, and we're breaking down a 4-3 Chicago Blackhawks victory here tonight. A little bit of a surprise given the way that this hockey game seemed like it was going midway through it. But Chicago scores a pair early on in the third period and do enough to hang on for that one-goal victory and sweep the season series. Let's just first talk about a night like this. Obviously, 5 games left in the regular season entering to tonight, and the stakes were known ahead of time. What kind of disappointment are you feeling right now if you're in that Flames locker room?
Extremely. You didn't get the job done. You didn't get the job done against what's kind of plagued the Calgary Flames this year. One of the teams that are not playoff bound. One of the teams that have struggled mightily this year, and for some reason the Calgary Flames have struggled against those teams.
Yeah, and third period, I think it's probably hard to look past that. And we'll get to the highlights here in just a moment, obviously hear from the head coach as well. But the early part of that third period, just sort of, what do you see in terms of how you end up in a spot you're down to?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a sore spot as well this year for the Calgary Flames. It's not like they've been beat by great plays. They've had something to do with some of these great plays that they've given up. There just was not enough urgency defensively at the start of that period. A little too casual, and again, it hurts them, especially on that first goal that's scored in the third by the Blackhawks.
Well, let's take a look at how this game comes down, because obviously it starts in the first, and for the third straight game, end up trailing after one period of play, and it was thanks to a couple of goals in that first period. The first one comes about 5 minutes in. Andreas Athanasiou walks into the middle part of the ice and then snaps that past Jacob Marsh.
Yeah, and you're going to let a player get to that part of the ice, a guy with this skill level. He's got some great finish. It was a heck of a shot. They've got to do a better job not letting him get to that position.
Got to the middle of the ice, scores his 17th of the season. More on Athanasiou in just a moment. But first, the Calgary Flames would find the tying goal. And it comes courtesy of this line that was sort of buzzing all over the offensive zone. It's kind of a broken play, but Tyler Toffoli finds a way to swat that past Peter Mrazek. Yeah, and a good second effort there. They kept pressing. They were sticks on pucks here, just doing anything they can to keep this play alive. And they were very fortunate there. And the Calgary Flames, started off, I thought, quite well in that first period tonight, and didn't have a lot of luck with pucks finding the net. Some went high over the net with Mrazek, so nice to see them get one for their efforts from early in that first period. But the late goal plagues them here, and this one comes courtesy of a little breakdown below the goal line, and finished off nicely by Jujhar Khaira right in front of the blue paint.
And again, these are the ones that bug you a lot at the end of the season. This is where you know everything that's on the line. You got to be bearing down. You got to be even more aware on those pucks around your net, and you just have to make stronger plays. And again, that should go for throughout the whole season, but with this much on the line, that play just doesn't cut it.
So 2-1 after one, and then in the second period they get the equalizing goal, and it comes off of a nice passing play, a nice hold inside the line by Blake Coleman that allows that puck to eventually find its way to Noah Hanifin, who scores his 7th.
Yeah, and the Flames have showed some resilience in the last couple of games. The last couple of games, Anaheim, Vancouver, those were roller coasters. You see Calgary here fighting through some adversity again. They claw back into this game, and they put themselves in a position to win this game going into the third period.
But this is where some of the mistakes start to pile up, and this one comes very early into that third period, about $1:40, and it's 2-on-1, and it's Athanasiou once again.
Yeah, and again, that just comes with a little more urgency, more awareness. You can't have your pocket picked here. You got to know what's going on. You got to know where players are, and then did not really like the way this one was defended. It's just too easy. You can give up something on a 2-on-1, but you can't give up everything. And some solid puck movement by the Blackhawks ends up in the net.
And once again, it was another odd man rush. Anthony Ciu gets his 18th second of the game, but this 2-on-1 comes shortly thereafter, and it's the Calgary native, Austin Wagner, that scores his first goal of the season.
And again, bad break at the other end of the rink. Anderson's trying to make a play offensively. It's, again, another 2-on-1, and I know that the effort's there. I know there's a slide, but you got to just make sure that that's an easier save for your goalie.
Calgary Flames would have an opportunity to get within one here, and Michael Backlund's looking backdoor to Jonathan Huberdeau, but it goes off the skate of Ian Mitchell and into the back of the net. And it seemed to spark the club, his 18th of the season, but a little sign of life with about 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, the Flames are pressing. They spent a lot of time down in the Chicago zone during the second period. Didn't get off to the start they wanted there at the start of the third period, but clawed back, get a fortunate bounce. They got very close.
Unfortunately, close only gets you so far. And
what are those two sports?
Yeah.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's right. That's right. And that is the situation here tonight. We'll show you here after. We'll hear from head coach Daryl Sutter here first. Then we'll talk a little bit about a couple of late chances, net empty in the final 2 minutes, and there were a couple of pretty good sequences and some traffic in front of Peter Mrazek, but unfortunately that equalizing goal was not to be found here tonight. Let's hear from the head coach without further ado. He's in the Ed Whalen Media Lounge. Here's head coach Daryl Sutter on his thoughts following the 4-3 loss tonight.
Frustrating. Turnovers cost the hockey game for sure. You know, when you're, just to sum it up, when you can see the fatigue or the, you don't have great legs. You just got to keep your game really simple. Some of us didn't manage the puck very well.
What did you see on the giveaway that Kadri had in the second goal?
So as I said, we didn't manage the puck very well. There's really all four goals or even the pinch play. Close games like that, you gotta just kind of touch all the bases.
Is it frustrating to see your group come out like that to start the third period, Daryl, when you're down or in this kind of game?
I don't think it was that at all. I mean, that wasn't the frustrating part at all. I think the frustrating part was when you're in that kind of game, you just gotta kind of keep putting quarters in the machine, not try and go all the way around.
The Kadri's giveaway on the third goal, is that just him? It seemed like both his giveaways, second and third goal, just nonchalant at a moment when it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I still know the energy is there. Some of our players, some of our guys looked like they had flat tires.
So do you address that with guys if they're having tough nights with the puck? Do you talk to them?
We got to get moving on here in a hurry. You're not going to dig into locker room stuff.
What is the message going into Winnipeg now?
Just sharpen that part of the game up because you're going to play a fresh team just like we did today. So you got to play a short, hard game. Keep it simple.
Still makes sense for you to go to Jacob in goal tomorrow in Winnipeg.
I never said I was, and I never did make that call, right? So we'll see. Never even got to that point.
You talked this morning about pace being an issue when you've played the Blackhawks in the past. How did you think you measured up there tonight?
Yeah, I think when you give them the puck back, kind of plays into it, right?
What sort of game are you expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Winnipeg will be. You look at their last two games they've played, the very same circumstance, right? The teams are traveling into play, and they jumped on them. So we're gonna have to be ready for that.
Okay, well, good. Thanks, sir.
Okay, you guys.
All right, there is head coach Daryl Sutter, and they'll be packing up shortly here and heading off to Winnipeg. We'll hear some thoughts inside the Calgary Flames locker room in just a moment, but maybe first let's just get some reaction to what you heard there. Obviously we had our thoughts post-game. What did you hear from the head coach?
I think Daryl's bang on with everything there. You're in a game when it's 2-2, it's this crucial. It's not a game that you're going to go and win in one shift. It's not where you have to go out there and press offensively. You've got a point in the bag if you keep the score where it is. I know, at this time of season you need to, but this is going to be a win that you build, a win that you just grind it out shift after shift after shift until you get the result. And you have to make sure that you don't give up those big mistakes that lead to chances for the other team. And unfortunately, that's the way it went for the Calgary Flames. But again, it might be a little too late to learn from it, but what Daryl's saying is what I believe. you have to stick to your game. Sometimes it's got to be simplified. You have to just, again,
Stabilize.
And it's not give up. You just cannot give up grade A chances and expect to win.
Well, maybe before we go inside the room, let's talk about those late chances here with about a minute left. I think the first kind of sequence of chances came with about 26 seconds left, and obviously this is what has to happen. There's a TV timeout with about 2.5. They pull their goalie with maybe I think it was 2:40 to play, and this was sort of the best of their chances with the net empty, and obviously a pretty good crowd in front, and they find a way to keep it out.
Yeah, and every puck that's come off a Toffoli stick this year has generally had a pretty good chance to go in the net, and that one as well, and they just couldn't quite get to it with Mrazek outstretched pad.
And this is about 10 seconds left. You can see this puck goes up in the air, and maybe Lindholm doesn't catch it right away. It ends up kind of falling in behind Seth Jones, but there's the puck right there, and obviously Mrazek's trying to follow it, but that's kind of that sequence, and they're protecting the front of the house, and Flames are trying to find it. And obviously not meant to be here tonight. And maybe before we pick up the rest of the conversation, let's go inside. Now we got one of the players ready, Rasmus Andersson, the defenseman, is available. Let's hear what he had to say about tonight's loss.
What happened out there tonight?
Sorry?
What do you think happened out there tonight? Why do you guys end up on the losing end?
I don't know. Bad game. Mistakes leads to goals, and just not good enough.
Daryl said he felt like some of the players came out flat tonight. How do you guys create a higher level of engagement with such a quick turnaround against Winnipeg?
We just got to play better, and we weren't good enough today. All of us got to play better tomorrow.
What does the team have to do differently with the puck tomorrow compared to today?
I don't think it was too much with the puck. It was just a few mistakes here and there, and it's up in our net, and then we don't really generate a whole lot, I thought, and but I thought we just got to do a little bit better job of getting through the neutral zone and create longer shifts in the O zone.
I know you get right back at it tomorrow, but how frustrating is it knowing that everything on the line, everybody knows what's at stake? You didn't maybe have the urgency.
Urgencies, I thought we had the urgency. Maybe just, sometimes you might want it too much, and that might have happened tonight when when you try to make that play all the time, and instead of just letting it come to you, it's frustrating, but plane leaves in less than an hour, so right back at it, and big game tomorrow.
Raz, why is this Blackhawks team giving you guys so much trouble this season?
I don't know, honestly. I have no clue. No clue.
We know last time you guys lost, you guys had an immediate turnaround in Anaheim, and it seems as if that kind of helped in terms of flushing the game prior. Are you expecting the same thing tomorrow when you have the game with Winnipeg, even if the stakes are pretty high?
Yeah, I personally expect my best tomorrow, and I think everyone in this room expect their best tomorrow. And it's it's frustrating today, but there's 5 more games to go, and we got to win all 5, and it starts tomorrow against Winnipeg.
Do you feel like everybody gave their best tonight, or were there some passengers?
No, I think everyone definitely gave their best, and then, even if you give your best, you might not play your best. So, but I think everyone, gave their best, but as I said, a couple of mistakes, and the fourth goal, it's a balance that I didn't see coming, and they go down and score, so that's on me. And it's as I said, it was a few individual mistakes, and led to their goals.
Okay, thanks, Russ. Guys, we got 2 more guys coming. We got to be really quick.
All right, there you hear from Rasmus Andersson, and interesting. He talks a little bit about just sort of the way that everybody is kind of pushing. They're pushing for the opportunities, and pressing's the word he used, but just about this time of year and how bad everybody's trying to make something happen, and how that can kind of affect other parts of the game.
Yeah, he mentioned balance out there, and it's not an easy thing to do when your season's on the line.
Yeah.
Everyone knows in the media, fans know, players know how crucial every play is, and it's not easy to find that fine line as to when to really go for it and try to make the plays, and when to push and maybe step out of your, it's not your comfort zone, but make plays that you don't routinely make, because you're trying to make a difference. That's ultimately what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you press too hard, you give up more. And again, not an easy thing to do. They've done a really nice job in the last few games of knowing when to go, seizing their opportunities. But unfortunately tonight just gave up a little too much. And I don't, again, was it them pressing? Was it them? I think it is, because I think at the start of the period they're thinking we've got to go out and win this game.
Take it. Yeah.
Not just settle in and build that victory.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it all coming from a good place, all coming from the right spot. It's
of
just
course it
sometimes it's too much.
And it's how do you manage that? And when you've gone through a whole season that's been very similar to that, when you've been having you always feel like you're pressing and pushing from behind a little bit, it wears on you. It's not an easy thing to manage.
Working for every single inch, right? Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about, we'll go back inside the Flames locker room in just a moment, but let's talk a little bit about Chris Tanev, because, quietly, obviously, that's not going to be the lead story coming out of tonight's game because it's so results-based. But another time that he comes back into the lineup, missed the last 6 games. I think he was, up closer to 22 minutes here tonight. Just what kind of, defenseman, what kind of presence he gives your back end on a nightly basis.
Yeah,
he did so again tonight.
And for me, you didn't really notice him a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And that's when a good defensive defender is doing his job.
Sure.
And he just made a lot of plays look very easy and very routine. We noticed him on that one, though.
Yeah, that one stood out, yeah.
That's a good way to get yourself back into it, too, right? You haven't been in the lineup for a little while. You're trying to make an impact. Why not go and run someone over?
And the rest of the way, he was just sort of, Chris Tanev, doing what he does.
And he looked solid, and he looked comfortable out there tonight. He didn't seem to be hindered by anything, didn't seem to have any residue from his injury. So good to see, but it's just little things. It's small plays like this. It's a block shot. It's his positioning. It's his stick on the ice. Like, he's got the experience. And when he's on the ice, there's kind of a calming presence, and you always get that from Chris Tanev.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big workload again here tonight for Chris Tanev as he makes his return after missing the last 6 games with an upper body injury, and expect him to be a big part of the conversation the rest of the way. 4 games remaining. All right, let's go back inside the Calgary Flames locker room. Nazem Kadri is standing by now.
Nazem, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, obviously a tough one to lose. Not good enough. We're going to have to bounce back tomorrow.
Was puck management an issue in this game for the Flames?
I certainly think so, for sure. It's unfortunate. They hop on a couple bounces, take advantage of some mistakes, and ends up costing us.
What happened on that second goal, Naz, that they scored?
Just turned it over. They made a nice play. Ice was getting a little chippy there at the end of the period. We got to simplify our game and just can't make those mistakes.
Darryl did say that he felt guys on tired legs, you guys were able to play the game as simple as possible. Do you feel like you were doing that out there?
I think so. I mean, besides those mishaps, I think we had a lot of opportunities and certainly some positive. But at the end of the day, you got to find ways to win, and tonight we didn't.
And on that third goal, were you trying to strip the puck of the forward there in the neutral zone?
On their third goal, which one was that? There.
After see you in the neutral zone.
Yeah, just a breakdown. We got jammed up in the neutral zone. Kind of came out of nowhere. Have to look at it to see what really happened. But again, they got some skilled players. Take advantage of mistakes.
Given the standings, 4 games left, the opponent does tomorrow's game have the elimination game 7 vibe to it?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it has to, for sure. I think it's do or die for us at that point, and we're gonna have to. It's a quick turnaround. Sometimes that can be a positive thing.
It seemed like a tough game for you. Do you flush that one out, or do you look at it and try and learn from it how you deal with that type of effort?
Well, like I said, I mean, we got a game tomorrow, so it's always easier to flush these ones. I mean, never really easy, but you kind of have no choice. You got to move on. Playing a good team tomorrow, and we're going to have to come out ready to go.
Thanks, Naz.
All right, guys, thank you.
Original 16. A great way to celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back, Flames post-game live brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Cory Sarich. 4-3, the Chicago Blackhawks win this one here to snap the Flames' 4-game win streak and, of course, snap their 8-game losing streak. So a big win for Chicago as they play the role of spoiler here tonight. And with that, we can kind of take a look at what's happened around the National Hockey League. Winnipeg was idle tonight. They don't play again until Calgary rolls in tomorrow night. So they will now have a game in hand on the Flames. And the Flames will end up remaining 2 games back, 2 points back of the Jets for that final spot in the Western Conference. However, Nashville played earlier tonight. They were at home to the Vegas Golden Knights. Cody Glass scores the overtime winner in that one. So now they crawl back 1 point behind Calgary with a game in hand and just 3 points back of Winnipeg. So certainly not exiting the conversation are the Nashville Predators, and I guess you don't really have to say much in terms of what tomorrow means in Winnipeg, these two teams meeting for the final time this season.
Yeah, no, the math is getting easier, and if you look, Calgary Flames can get to 95 points this year. The Nashville Predators can get to 96 points, and then all that means that Winnipeg has to do is, I think, just go out and win 3 of their last 5, maybe even 2 of their last 5. So it's getting very hard, but again, these teams have a lot of crossover. They're all playing each other, getting down to it, but you don't give up yet. You just get out there, you press, you try to. You've seen Winnipeg's struggles up until their couple big wins at home here lately. But again, they've been an inconsistent team as well. So you just got to get out of the gates and start putting a little bit of doubt in their mind early in the first period.
Yeah, that's well said, and they'll have the opportunity to do that here tomorrow night in less than 24 hours. Let's hear from Michael Backlund inside the Flames locker room as we move toward the end of this post-game show.
See, is the difference out there tonight?
I mean, we weren't playing with the pace, execution that we wanted. I think urgency, not at the level you would want us to be at in such an important game. And I mean, we tied 2-2 going into the third, and that's where we got to push, and they did it to us instead. I thought in the second we dominated the period, and we came back and had a chance to win the game in the third, and we gave up 2 right away.
Michael, how do you that urgency there in your estimation?
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer. Maybe too many of us were thinking about tomorrow's game and thinking a little too far ahead. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question to answer.
It seemed like the difference in the game, from my vantage point, was mental mistakes and giveaways. Like at least 3 of the goals were pretty bad giveaways. Did you see it that way too? There were breakdowns.
Yeah, I think overall with the game, we could have executed a lot of things better and helped ourselves in a better way.
Considering that some guys before today were talking about not looking past Chicago ahead of that Winnipeg game, how frustrating is it to have the game and the result go the way that it did today?
Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's tough, but at the same time, we gotta regroup here. We know we have to be a lot better tomorrow. It's not over. They win tomorrow and we're back in it. So yeah, that's how we gotta look at it now.
Do the stakes for tomorrow make it easier to flush a game like today away?
Yeah, we have no choice. If we want to keep our season alive, if we want to keep our playoff hopes alive, we gotta forget about everything up until this point and just win 1 game tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Bax.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, there's Michael Backlund, one of the assistant captains on this Calgary Flames team, and you heard it. The final words is to look ahead to tomorrow. We talked about it just going into that post-game reaction, but kind of all you can do. And maybe in some ways, travel is going to be difficult because they're heading out literally as we speak. The bags are packed and they're off to the airport. But there is some solace in the fact that less than 24 hours you're going to be back in it and back with an opportunity.
Yeah, and you don't have to sit around and stew about it for very long. You just get out there and you try to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of fatigue involved, but if you can't get up for a game like this, again, we've had a couple of games where season's basically on the line, and tomorrow I think is going to be the absolute definitive game. You got to get up and you got to get it done.
All right, that's coming your way. And like I said, less than 24 hours time, it'll be the Calgary Flames and Winnipeg Jets from Winnipeg, and an opportunity to close the gap in the Western Conference playoff picture. There's Nazem Kadri, and of course, it was the Chicago Blackhawks that played the role of spoiler here tonight. 4-3 the final as they snapped their 8-game losing streak, and then the Flames have their 4-game win streak snapped in the process as well. But it is a quick turnaround. 5:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 local. Flames and Jets from Canada Life Center tomorrow, down to the final 4 games of this regular season. Thanks for watching Flames Postgame Live, brought to you by Original 16. We'll see you right back here at the Scotiabank Saddledome coming up later on next week.